Okay, so this video is basically going to break down this document on how to use cold email to book at least an extra 20 meetings a month minimum. So I can tell you right now, if you're not already doing cold email and you have any kind of B2B business, you are leaving very free or very cheap money on the table, right? There's a reason why Mark Zuckerberg is so rich. Facebook ads are great, but they come with a lot of costs, right? And your customer acquisition costs can be very, very high. Like our customer acquisition cost on an ad is around $1,500, whereas it by a cold email is like around $200 to $300. So far, far cheaper. But anyway, if you go through everything in here and you implement it to the degree that I outlined in terms of the volume, everything set up, and you don't book at least 10 new meetings, then please just DM me and I'll personally block off some time in my calendar to consult you on this until you actually do. Because yeah, unless your offer is like terrible and you don't have any results, then it probably won't work. But anyway, let's get into like sort of my thesis on this. So cold emails generates a lot of revenue, well over 7 figures. And that said, I have a firm belief that this will only work if you have a brand that builds trust, right? So think about all the emails you get on a day-to-day basis, right? You get emails from domains that have no profile picture. It's a gmail.com. They're telling you about SEO services. It's a 20 paragraph long email. You are never, literally ever going to respond to it. I know I haven't, right? So you need to be a real person, because obviously the cold email is the first part. But what do people find when they search you online, right? When they Google you, is there articles, is there podcasts, is there content on social media? If you're not there, if you're like a ghost, then no one's ever going to take the time, right? So my thesis on business is you have to have the brand for cold outbound to work. And in order for your brand to work to its maximum capacity, you need to be doing cold outbound, right? So the mindset behind cold email, I learned this whole thing from, I'm going to quote one of my mentors here, Alex Berman. So he says, Fortune 500 CEOs aren't scrolling Facebook and LinkedIn ads all day, but they are in their email inbox. So this essentially means that it's the perfect place to reach high-level busy people who you actually want to do business with. Now, I always like to give a quick word of warning. You can send the exact same email to 2 different people and get 2 vastly different responses. Now, I've kept some G-rated ones in here. There's been some pretty extreme versions. Some of them are very laughable, right? But anyway, it's all a part of the game, and it says nothing about you, your email, your systems, your strategy. It just says everything about them, right? If you get an email you don't like, most normal people just say, hey, man, not interested. Thanks so much for your time, right? I respect anyone. This is my personal belief. I respect anyone out there trying, right? I won't go ahead on Twitter and blast someone for sending me a shit DM. I will actually just reach out to the person, give them some feedback, because, there's no point bashing people. You don't build the tallest building by ripping every other building down. You build the tallest building by building the tallest building, right? So let's get into the anatomy of a good cold email. So I can't take credit for this particular framework. I learned this from Alex Berman, but it's pure gold, right? Before I actually started consuming his course and his content, I was probably, I can't recall the exact numbers, but we weren't booking a lot of meetings, right? Then I simply changed the strategy, added volume to it, tweaked it and improved it. And then I think in October, we booked, 60 meetings for the month in that, compared to before we did maybe like 10, right? Which is a huge, huge difference. So the framework is the 3 C's: complement, case study, call to action. So what it does is it has a degree of personalization, it adds social proof, and then a strong call to action. So I wrote up this really quick example for like a B2B recruitment offer for replacing salespeople into companies. So again, I put some spin tax in here. That obviously when you're adding leads into Instantly, which I'll explain, it gives you their company name and first name in there automatically. So, hi, John. Came across XYZ Enterprises on LinkedIn. Big fan of your work. We specialize in placing highly trained salespeople into growing consulting companies. Recently, we helped our client XYZ add an additional 15K in MRR and saved 15 hours a week from taking sales calls themselves. Got 5 minutes this week to discuss how we could do the same for you. So in a nutshell, it's a basic framework. Like obviously I just made up this case study, but the point is this is the case study part. So we have complement, case study, call to action. We're not trying to sell them, hey, do you want to buy my $997 sales closer? Hey, do you want to buy my $997 course? It's literally selling them to the next step. So going to like a call, depending upon your sales process, to then qualify the person to a higher degree before booking them onto a demo call. So to kind of break down why I think this, or why I know this is a really solid cold email, it's not the greatest in the world. I did write it in about 60 seconds on the fly. But firstly, it's brevity, right? So it's brief. No one likes a long cold email. Just get straight to the damn point. So, and again, it's very concise. This email clearly tells the prospect how we can help them, people that we've helped. It's not like, hey, we can do 10 different things. We build websites, SEO, graphic design, social content. Like if you confuse it, like confusion kills deals. And so if you confuse people, they're never going to respond. Keep it brief and frame it around how you can help them. And lastly, like I just said before, the call to action, we're not asking for a sale. We're simply asking for a short amount of their time to connect. Now, there are variations of cold emails to send, but I think this framework is a really, really good place to start. I will add some more advanced ones as well in later modules. But how do we do this at scale, right? So, you might be familiar with email automation. You might not. Now, I'm not talking about like MailChimp and ActiveCampaign where you market to your email list. I'm talking about tools that send 10,000, 20,000 emails a day potential through their software, right? Now, I used to have 5 team members, believe it or not. I used to have 5 team members who would go on, manually go on and try and find emails from people. Then they would add them to like a spreadsheet, and then they would email each person individually, right? So I was paying 5 people to do this. Now I have a system that literally can send 10x the amount we did before, and I just have one person managing the whole thing, right? So you need to be leveraging tools. My personal favorite, by far, is Instantly.ai. So my dashboard is in here, which I'll kind of get into in a bit and explain some stuff. But you need to be sending at least 1,000 new cold emails a day minimum, right? That's my belief. So it takes time to scale up to this. You need a fair few accounts, but you want to at least start with like 10 domains. But yeah, if you're thinking to yourself, oh my God, how the hell do I send 1,000 cold emails? This is the answer. Like, you do not want to be sitting in your inbox manually typing them, unless what you do is very, very specific and you are targeting very, very specific people, and you might only need to reach out to 5 per day and send a super, super personalized one. Then sure, do that. But in most cases, the secret sauce is having like a good email that works at scale and then adding volume to the system, right? So like, there's some numbers that you want to baseline sort of aim for. So you want to have a 70% response rate at least. 70% open rate at least, a 7.5% response rate, and then like a 2% meeting book rate, which means of every 100 emails you send, you get 2 booked meetings. So in an ideal world, you send 1,000 emails per day, you can ideally book 20 meetings per day. Realistically, depending upon the size of the company as well, you probably might not even want that right now, right? You might just want to be looking at 3 to 5 meetings per day. So the goal really is just to tweak and improve. So like, one of our goals is to get the response rate up to at least 10%. So from the last 12 months, we've sent 80.4K emails. Now, mind you, this isn't to 80.4K new people. This includes follow-up emails. So we use a 4-step follow-up sequence. But anyway, it's a whole different subject. So 78.1% open rate, really solid. 8.6% reply rate, really solid. We've had 636 new opportunities. Now, this one, I don't give this number here much merit, because it doesn't actually know which people were successful in saying, yeah, I want to book a time. It doesn't know how many we booked, but you do the math on that. 10% roughly of 80K is around 8,000 people who've responded to our messages, right? So let's keep it moving. Now, the biggest mistakes that when it comes to cold email, not sending enough. Like I mentioned before, if you're not sending at least 500 to 1,000 a day, you're just not going to be doing anywhere near the volume required to scale. 2, not checking performance metrics. So not reviewing these campaigns constantly, seeing what needs to be improved, not adjusting the script often enough from that, having bad call to actions, and then not following up, right? So the next part of this, let's get into like the follow-up. So as they say, the cheesy quote, the fortune's in the follow-up. But you'd be surprised at how many times the replies come from like a second or third email, right? People say, wow, I really admire your persistence, Lewis. Or, anyway. So use this cadence when you set this up. So you want to send email 1, then wait 4 days. Email 2, wait 3 days. Email 3, wait 5 days. Email 4, wait 21 days before you send the last email, which is pretty much like a breakup email, right? So the framework, you do not want to be sending stuff like, hey, Sally, just following up. Hey, Sally, did you forget to reply? Hey, Sally, you still there, right? Like, if they're not responding to you, it's for a good reason. And this is never going to get someone to respond, right? Apart from to say, leave me the hell alone. So you never want to come across as needy or annoying. You want to keep it brief, obviously, but actually have some value provided in the email as well. So follow-up 1 is really not so much value-based. It's a quick bump. So bumping it back to the top of their inbox. Like, hi, John. Know you're super busy. Just wanted to make sure this didn't get buried in your inbox. Did you have a chance to see my email above, right? Now, this will yield a lot of responses. At the same time, some people won't respond. Now, my favorite one is follow-up 2. So this is the big idea, right? So big idea is like, hey, John, was just check out your LinkedIn again. Had some ideas on how we could help you generate XYZ result leveraging our XYZ offer or system. Got 5 minutes this week to connect, right? Then follow-up 3 is kind of like a follow-up from that, sort of reiterating bigger idea, right? So kind of going into more depth on that, showing them how you've done it, adding another case study before the last email, which is the breakup email. So super simple. Pretty much, you just ask them, "Hey, John, at this point, I assume you're not interested in, adding X, Y, Z to your business," or, "Hey, John, I'm not sure if, sounds like this isn't a fit right now. Do you want me to keep your details on file for a later time?" And look, if you don't get a response to that, you just got to take it that they're not interested, and that's when the automation ends. So, yeah, pretty simple. Now, if you're someone who takes action, again, you might be watching this, you might already be doing cold email, just looking for some more sort of info and tactics, or you might be brand new and not have, anything set up. So here's basically a checklist of everything you need to do in order to get this set up. So firstly, you need to buy 10 domains. Now, the reason is you never, ever want to send emails from your primary domain. Because what happens when Google registers as an email as a spam domain? It puts everything into the spam folder. I made the mistake of doing this. I didn't understand this, and I, added all our company stuff to new domains, started doing cold outreach, and then all of a sudden, all of our clients weren't getting our emails because they were all going to spam, right? So you do not want to fall into that bucket because it will cost you a lot of time, money, and energy. So buy 10 domains, just make them variations of your own one. I'll go through some naming stuff down here in a second. But yeah, from there, you want to create 10 unique emails. You want to forward all these domains to your primary URL. So it's really simple. I recommend buying all your domains in domains.google.com because it makes all of this incredibly easy. Then you want to pick one which is your master inbox. So maybe it's your favorite email that you've created of all the unique emails. So then you just want to follow Google's instructions to set up a forwarding address to this master inbox. That way, instantly we'll send all the emails from 9 different accounts, and then all you have to do is respond from the one, right? Which works really, really good. Then obviously sign up to instantly.ai, follow the instructions in there to connect your domain. So if I was to go in here now and go to email accounts, I want to add new, I'll just click add. You need to just follow these instructions here. Yes, it's been enabled. Yes, I've enabled 2-step verification. I've set up an app password, blah, blah, blah. Then you want to add in all the details here. Click connect, and then it will connect your email. So then, write out a 5-step email sequence. So following the stuff that I said above, upload that all into Instantly. You want to collect 500 plus name emails, plus LinkedIn profiles if you need. You can go into Upwork, find someone who's an email scraper. I would type in email lead finder or email lead scraper and give them the company criteria. Give them the criteria in general. So industry, company size, role, location. Really simple. Then you want to add the leads into Instantly. And then click go, monitor the inbox daily, schedule meetings into your calendar, and tweak as needed. So pretty straightforward. Follow this checklist to get all of that set up. Now, when creating and naming domains, these aren't mine. I'll give credit to Michael Gardner, MG Entrepreneur on Twitter. He posted these really, really great resources. So just look through this and see the rules for buying domains. It will, save you a lot of time, effort, and energy because I bought a few with a dash and these ones end up always not working as well. But to kind of wrap things up, cold email has been a game changer for our business. And I really, I don't want to say I don't know what I'd do without it, but it is a game changer. So if you use it to some extent, keep going, keep scaling up. If you don't use it at all, give it a red hot crack. You've literally got nothing to lose. And I hope this makes sense for your offer and your business. Please go ahead and implement it. I do want to see you win. Go ahead and make things happen, and we'll see you in the next video.